Hello and welcome to Absolute Corkers, the wine show nobody asked for, where we talk and taste all things natural. This week, I want to dive deeper into what natural wine actually is. You see, I've made a video about this before, and some might say it was a little bit lacking. So today, I want to talk about the differences between organic, biodynamic, and natural wine. Starting off with organic, because it's the most sort of familiar term. When a wine is referred to as being organic, it is referring to the treatment of the soil. You see, in organic farming, no artificial pesticides or fertilizers are allowed to be used. So in order to fertilize your soil and your vines, you have to use things like compost and animal manure. And because there's nothing protecting your vines from pests, you have to plant things around the vines that will attract predators to kill those pests, and therefore protecting the majority of your vines. So why go through all this effort? Well, people believe, myself included, that these artificial fertilizers and pesticides translate into the flavor of the wine and doesn't give a true expression of the grape. Also, don't think it tastes very nice, and it's not good for the environment. So why don't more people farm organically? Well, to be honest, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. First of all, to get organically certified. Secondly, to keep up with those organic farming practices. Not to mention the cost implications and the labor intensity of that. It's understandable that people who produce wine at a large scale use those standardized farming practices. It's also a lot cheaper for them to do it. I don't want to sound preachy, but I think the more organic stuff we buy, the more attractive it is for big businesses to come over and invest in organic farming. Therefore, it gets cheaper for everybody. Just a thought. Again, not preachy. Promise. Biodynamic farming is organic farming on another level, as if organic farming went on a meditation retreat and came back with some really funky ideas. Now, the main crux of biodynamic farming is the idea that the animal, the soil, and the plants are all linked. It requires a diverse range of animals to fertilize soils, and it essentially embodies sustainability. Sounds lovely, right? Well, there is more, and this is usually where you lose a lot of people because, quite frankly, it's a bit fucking weird. For soil preparation, biodynamic farmers use a combination of the following techniques. Bear with me. A cow horn filled with cow manure is buried 16 to 18 inches deep in the soil during the winter when the vines are dormant. The manure, which must come from a lactating cow, is said to bring calcium processes to the preparation. Eventually, after the horn is dug up, its contents are mixed with water and sprayed on the soil 4 times a year, always in the afternoon and during the descending phase of the moon. Yarrow, a sweet-smelling herbal plant, is sheathed inside a stag's bladder, which is hung in the warm summer sun. It is buried throughout the winter and dug up in the following spring. The bladder is then discarded, but its contents are used as compost. The bark of an oak tree is grated into a powder in autumn and placed in the skull of a sheep. Okay, you can see why people might be a bit skeptical about some of these techniques. But wait, there's more. Your vines are also subject to the biodynamic calendar, which has 4 different types of day: flower day, leaf day, root day, and fruit day. And each element is said to have a preferred day in accordance with the lunar cycle passing through the constellations. For example, if it is a fruit day and the moon is in a certain position, it's supposed to be like a good day to harvest the fruit. I'm not condemning this style of farming. I mean, you're free to express yourself in any way you like. It just doesn't resonate with me personally. The crucial thing about organic and biodynamic practices is that they are both certifiable, which means you can put a label on a bottle saying certified organic or certified biodynamic, depending of course on the country that you are in. However, natural wine is not certifiable because no one can categorically agree what it means. There are lots of different ideas on this. Me personally, I don't want any artificial pesticides or fertilizers. Do the grapes need to be handpicked? No, not really. Some others, they need the grapes to be handpicked for it to be natural wine. But most importantly for me is no added sulfur dioxide, no added acidity, no added sugar. The wine needs to be unfiltered and unfined. And generally speaking, I'd like my yeast to be naturally formed, but it's not a deal breaker. See, that is what natural wine is for me, but for others they may disagree with the handpicking of the grapes and using machinery and different types of fertilizers. See, no one can fundamentally agree what natural wine is, therefore it can't be certified because there are so many opinions and variables, and it's just no one can agree. It's important to note what is important to you. For me, organic and sustainable farming is at the heart of why I drink and support natural winemakers, and generally speaking, they're in it for the same reasons as well. Let me know your thoughts on organic, biodynamic, natural wines. I'd really like to have some discussions in the comments. Now that's it for this week. I hope you learned something about organic, biodynamic, natural wines, get you thinking a bit more about those practices and the farming stuff. If you like this video, you know what to do by now. So, gotta do it. Goodbye.